G'day everyone. The Yaksha King is a tough boss with high mobility and damage. Thankfully, he's not particularly tanky, so today we're going to be using the Centipede Armour and Spellbinder to deal brute force damage and kill him very quickly and pretty easily. I'll show you the build after, but just look what it can do. That's nearly a third of his health in the first hit. Follow that opening hit with 5 light attacks every time. Because Bargier is helping as well, he always gets staggered easily there. Now this here is one of his most annoying abilities, and for this strategy, it's one of the few that you actually have to learn how to dodge, because for the rest of his combos, we're basically going to run and dodge away from him, waiting for a specific opening. I'll break down the important combos at the end of this. Now, if you're wondering why my damage is so high, I do open up the character pane here, and as you can see, 266 damage. That's also after the damage pellets from the start of the fight have worn off. Now, this here is the attack we're looking for. When he bends forward a little and crosses his blades behind him like that, he's about to shoot 5 ranged projectiles at you. This is one of his ranged abilities that he'll use when you're not close to him, which is why you can kind of bait it out by keep backing up and creating space. When you see this, you can simply start running to the side whilst charging up your heavy attack, and after that 5th one comes out, if you're far enough away from him, it won't hit you, and you can run in and get a free heavy attack. Get a few light attacks in if you want, but never more than 2 or 3, back straight up and create space again. Now he will be aggressive and start doing all these flippy, stabby combos. When that happens, just start moving backwards and dodging away from him. Without really knowing what he's doing, you can be pretty successful just dodging backwards and making space. Now when he starts scaling the wall like this, he's about to jump off the top and land and do one of his big ground spike abilities. You want to be away from the initial landing and then be ready for the follow-up pulse of spikes. Now just there I used the enhanced ginseng pellets when I saw the opening. These give you 4 focus points instantly and is a great way just to get 1 extra big heavy attack in. Given that I'm only doing 4 heavy attacks in this whole fight, one of them being free and instant is very useful. Now as you see here, I'm not doing anything too crazy still. I'm not really attacking much, I'm just dodging backwards as best I can and moving away from him to create space. He does have a handful of abilities, about 3 or 4, that he will use repeatedly to try and close the gap on you, so I'll show you those after this. Now I know he is so low that I could just finish him off here with a few light attacks or even that 2 points that I have charged up, but that's just because I got the big crit at the start. Normally I need 4 or 5 heavy attacks. I also want to demonstrate the strategy, and here it is. He's using his 5 projectiles, and so I'm charging up, running to the side, and I'm going to go in and finish him off with that last heavy attack. So all in all, pretty easy. That was 4 heavy attacks, a few light attacks, and no super complicated dodges. Let's talk quickly about the opening sequence, because you can do that nearly the same every time. As I said, follow your initial heavy attack with 5 light attacks. With Bargier helping you out, he's going to get staggered and he won't get an attack off there. After that 5th light attack, you can nearly always back up a little bit, and then he'll get focused on Bargier for a little bit, and you can get another 3-point charge in just for free right off the bat here. Here's a different clip where I do the same. I did it quite a few times, I won't show them all obviously, but it is fairly repeatable. Something you'll notice I'm doing here in a second is I'm taking a sip from my gourd before I attack again. There is a reason for that, and I'll talk about it later, but basically by taking your flask, you're re-poisoning yourself, proccing more damage, and you're also increasing the damage of the next attack, which is how we get these nice juicy 5k crits off 3 points. Alright, so let's see what to do when that doesn't work. In this one, after my opening hit, I'll do my standard 5 light attacks. You can always get those in, but this time, rather than focusing on Bargier, he decides to leap at me and start attacking me instead. Now the strategy remains the same, you're just getting 1 less heavy attack in for free. If you're not confident dodging his combos, just start dodging backwards and making space between you and the boss. As you can see, that's all I'm doing here. After 1 or 2 combos, he's going to get sick of this, and he's going to back up and he's going to engage you with some of his ranged abilities. That's why we're kind of baiting them out. And here we are, he's going into that stance that we like. So as soon as I see that, I'm running to the side and I'm charging up my heavy attacks. Once that 5th projectile goes through, I'm not too close, I start to run in, close the gap, and I'll release my 3-point heavy attack. So that's the most conservative way to play this. You can literally just run away from him and dodge back until you bait that attack out and then get that 3-point heavy attack in. Now obviously if you've been fighting him for a while and you're pretty comfortable with a lot of his dodges, then absolutely start to weave in some light and varied attacks in his combos, and then when you see him start that ranged attack, you can exploit that with a heavy attack as I've shown you. If you use the same build I am here, your light attacks are going to absolutely shred him. Now let's briefly look at some of the combos you want to be able to recognize. As I said, this one here where he bends over and shoots his 2 blades up into the air and they're glowing red, this is one of his most dangerous ones. It's going to be a 5 combo slash, and it'll alternate between horizontal and vertical. The horizontal ones are fast, the vertical ones are slow. Now it's the 2nd and 4th really delayed slow ones that are likely to catch you out. You need to be patient and really try and wait until he gets all the way over to a 90-degree angle like this, with the blade vertically straight up before you dodge. It is tricky, delayed attacks are the worst, it'll probably take you a few times to get used to. I think one of them even hit me in the kill clip before. When he runs at you and goes into a cool little slide on his left foot like this, he's about to do a leaping slash through you, which you need to dodge as you see him start to stand up. He'll then do 1 jump where he repositions around the room, you don't need to dodge anything there, and then as soon as you register him jumping towards you like this, you need to dodge once as he's about to very rapidly close the gap and stab you. Now when his left blade alone glows like this, he's about to very rapidly lunge at you and do a series of 3 slashes. Roll back as soon as you see that coming and you should be out of range of most of them. He follows this by going into this stance here, which tells you he's about to do a massive ground spike AoE. You want to move out of that and then be ready because he always follows that with a leap and slash. Now I showed you this in the kill clip, but when he runs up the wall like this, he's about to leap off and land doing a big ground spike AoE. He's going to follow that with a second ground AoE, but in a bigger area this time, so you need to keep getting out or be ready for the second dodge. When he crosses his blades in front of him like this and they're both glowing, he's about to do a series of 3 attacks. He'll do 2 double slashes, one after the other, followed by leaping away into the air in a bit of a flurry, and then landing and doing one of his ground spike AoE abilities. This also has the secondary follow-up, so make sure you're ready for it. The first 3 attacks in this combo, the double slashes and the leap, don't track you particularly well, so just make it out of the first one and keep moving backwards and he'll miss the rest. When he readies his right blade only and it starts glowing like this, he's about to do 3 circular slashes. The first 2 have limited range and you can just get back once or twice and you'll outrange them, but the third hits most of the room, so you need to time that one properly. Now in the second part of the fight, he will start to add this additional extremely delayed follow-up slash to a bunch of his abilities, like this one. For this one, you need to be very patient as well and wait until the sword comes right round and is eclipsed by his body like this. And it's pointing directly behind him, that's when you want to dodge. Another common gap closer is when he slides at you with his heel first like this. This is a 4-part attack. After he slides in, he'll do a leg sweep and then leap into the air doing a slash on the way back down, followed by a final horizontal slash. And then this here is that extra bonus slash that I just told you about. Alright, and the final thing you want to be on high alert for is this ability here where he bends down to the side with both blades behind him glowing. When you see this, you need to dodge once the instant he starts moving, or he hits you with this grab attack where he beats you into the rock and smashes your face in for a moment. Alright, so that's all the main combos you need to know about. Let's move on to the build now. To get the kind of damage that I did in that kill, you need to be using the 4 set of the Centipede Armour to significantly increase attack while suffering from the poison state. You can craft this after you've defeated the 100-eyed Taoist from chapter 4, and you also need to have beaten the Scorpion Lord for one of the materials required. You need the Death Stinger Soak so that we can poison ourselves when we drink from the gourd, and you also need the Gall Gem for increased poison resistance. And use the Lung Balm drink to considerably increase the damage executed by the next attack after drinking. The other 2 soaks can be personal preference. With this equipped and the armor, now whenever you drink, you get poisoned, giving yourself 20% damage bonus, and you also have a increased damage on the next attack. So drink before each of the heavy attacks, as I said in the video. Now, something important about Spellbinder to understand is that it converts 16% of your current mana into damage. Alright, so we're going to increase our mana as much as possible before using Spellbinder so that we snapshot that damage as high as we can. So I've got 3 of these Thunderflame Seals equipped. Each of these give 30 mana, as you see there, and I'm going to have all 3 equipped for now. I've also got the Gore-Eyed Taoist. That only gives 10 mana, but if you've upgraded, it could be more. Now, the last thing we can do is any temporary mana increases, which includes potions. So I'm going to use the Essence Decoction Potion, which gives max mana temporarily. So once you've got all those mana increases on, use Spellbinder to snapshot that damage. That damage won't change now for the rest of this life until we reset or rest. So now we can go and change all those passive things like Curios and Spirits back. So for this build, you're going to put on the Verdant Glow Spirit. Upgrade it if you can, it'll just help with the passive healing. And then for Curios, you're going to change these back. Take the Cat's Eye Beads for crit chance. Take the, down the bottom here, we've got the Kuo Yin Jin Belt Hook for poison resistance, as well as the White Seashell Waist Chain for just 5 attack baseline. Once you've done that, you're nearly ready to go. Use any damage or crit pellets that you have. I'm using the Lung Aura Amplification just because it's the best, it does everything. Have your enhanced ginseng ready and then take a drink from your wine gourd to activate poison and all those buffs that come with that from the Centipede Armour. I forgot to open my character pane there, but I opened it on this different one where I did the exact same setup. And as you can see, that's 313 damage. That's why that first hit crit for like 6+K. If you want a more detailed breakdown of this particular build utilizing the Centipede set, why we're taking things like the Verdant Glow and Poison Resistance, watch this video here that I'll put in the card and the description. It's one of my other videos where I break down this build. Finally, let's look at Sparks. I'd say you need to be level 79 minimum to get the most value out of this, as I've done here. So first, Spellbinder, that's obvious. That's where we're getting most of our damage. You want to max that tree out completely. Into Staff stances, you want to take the Smash stance. As you can see here on the page, in particular, Smashing Force is giving us damage on our heavy attacks, Quick Hand for charging speed, and secondary damage for increased just damage to those heavy attacks. In Foundation, the most important is the attack, the crit damage, and the crit chance, as well as your total mana pool, which gets converted into damage from Spellbinder. If you have any points left over, throw the rest into the stamina tree as I'm doing here, or wherever else you kind of fancy. The rest is optional. Lightning Fast is good if you're doing varied attacks, and Steadfast gives the most defense per spark point invested compared to the foundation tree. If you've still got more left over, you can put them into the martial tree for light attacks, or the survival tree just for your health pool and your stamina pool. Those don't hurt, or your defense points as well. And that's it for this guide. If the build or strategy help you, please let me know and drop a like, comment, or subscribe to support the channel. Thanks for listening, everyone. Cheers.